Looking now at some Twitter fire here. Let's take to social media. Looking at players before the game, Jeremy Wilkes tweeting out, "Football equals #1 priority, hashtag beat Tulane," a topic that was probably trending among the team today. And then after the game, looks like Richie Desir there giving some love to Mom. A shout out to Mom over there on social media. And then George Morris II really is impressed with how the team's doing. Good overall team win. 52-17. Keep the tape rolling, fellas. We are progressing. So a lot of really positive feedback over there on social media from the team.
Here we're debuting a new segment on Orange Press Pass. It's By the Numbers. Evan Weston here with fellow analyst Bobby Krivitsky. We're going to be talking about some of the numbers that you might not see right off the top from Syracuse, but something we can discuss looking deeper into this game. And the one thing I'd like to point out first is Syracuse's yards per attempt when Terrell Hunt was throwing the football in the first half. For the most part this season, Syracuse's pass offense has been very inefficient, but today, Terrell Hunt over 13 yards per attempt. And what that stat is it takes the yards passed and divides it by the number of attempts, not necessarily completions, that Terrell Hunt threw. So 13 YPA. The NFL leader, for context, is Aaron Rodgers. He's at 10.3. So Hunt had a huge day, explosive passing. Syracuse was gaining over a first down every time Hunt threw the football.
I'm a huge fan of advanced statistics, and this stat right here shows the difference between him and Drew Allen. Drew Allen just not quite as effective leading this offense. Terrell Hunt, not only is he more comfortable and familiar with the system, but because he doesn't make decisions beforehand and he's so athletic, he keeps defenses honest, he can make plays that Drew Allen simply couldn't and didn't.
Yeah, for context, Drew Allen's YPA this season was 5.8, so Hunt more than doubling him in that statistic today.
Now, how about a fairly basic stat, and that is the number 3, which you see right here. That stands for how effective Syracuse special teams were at blocking 2 punts. They recovered a muffed punt, which really is only a credit to them in the fact that they were able to recover it, but more importantly, they were able to take advantage of those and even blocked a field goal from Cairo Santos, the Lou Graza winner.
Yeah, Santos is an excellent kicker. Flew back to the game after the death of his father this week and was able to make it and was greeted very coldly by the Syracuse defense. 3 blocked kicks, and again, that muffed punt recovery. This is the first time Syracuse had 2 or more muffed kicks blocked kicks in a game since 2004. So, I mean, a tremendous effort by a unit that has been disparaged a lot at Syracuse. You know, they don't even have a special teams coach, but Scott Schaefer pulling his unit together for a big win.
Well, I think it's an area that Doug Marrone didn't place as much of an emphasis on, but you really can't win and be a successful football program without excelling in all 3 facets of the game. Scott Schaefer looking to revive the special teams unit.
Precisely. That's it for By the Numbers. Hope you liked our new segment. Now let's go over to an old tradition here on Orange Press Pass. Our reporter, Ben Peck, is in studio with Heather.
Thanks so much, Evan. Ben was at the game today. Now, let's take a look at some of the atmosphere in the game today. You saw the students all got a free ticket. Scott Schaefer wanting to pack the dome, as he calls it. He wants to get that 12th man involved. What did you see from the student section because of this now extra incentive to come out?
Yeah, Heather, the thing that popped out most to me was the fact that they may have not filled up the dome completely. I mean, when you're going up against Tulane, it's hard to ever really do that. But the fans that were there were really getting into it at times. And, even Coach Schaefer said after the game, the fans are huge for this team to excel. And, maybe the numbers can get up a little bit. But the fans that were there were pretty energized. And, going forward, this should be a strength.
And Coach Schaefer obviously being a very community-oriented guy, very similar to what we saw with Doug Marrone last year. And, Coach, you saw Terrell Hunt seemed like really now starting to find his groove, especially in front of the dome, in the dome, in front of the home crowd. Now, we heard a pretty big applause for him when he was announced today.
Yeah, on the little starting lineup on the video board, his face came up. You hear sort of a muted applause. A lot of other stuff was going on, so hard to really focus on that. But there does seem to be an energy when he comes into the game. People are excited. They're seeing big plays. They're seeing 40 points and a half. And that's just something Drew Allen was not able to do. And, there's a lot of ways he can get that done. We saw him fly into the end zone for that 1 touchdown. And I think there's definitely reason for optimism, especially knowing that this guy, unlike Drew Allen, is going to be around for a couple months.
Yeah, it seemed like coming into the season, Drew Allen had a lot of hype coming in, but then when Terrell Hunt was able to take over and do things, that he wasn't able to do. Now there's kind of a sense of loyalty among the fans, it seemed, don't you think?
Definitely. And, Drew Allen, it's really tough for him. The thing I noticed, coming into the game, they said, we're going to try to work Drew Allen in if we can. Terrell's our starter, but it's by no means set. And just based on the way this game played out, it looks like this battle is set. Drew Allen not really coming in until it was completely over. Unlike Wagner, where maybe
he started the game
exactly, or you maybe early on in the game, an opponent you think you're going to beat by a lot, you bring him in, try to see who works well. Terrell Hunt definitely taking over the scene.
Did you happen to catch him on the sideline at all? What was his, whenever there was a positive play, what was his body language kind of like on the sideline looking at that?
He was excited, but always had his helmet on, ready to get into the game, and not as pumped as maybe some other players were, even Charlie Loeb sometimes. But, I think it's for him, he's trying to find that balance of supporting Terrell Hunt while also being ready and being a competitor, not just giving up and, bowing down to Terrell Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Our own Ben Peck was at the game. Syracuse beats Tulane 52-17 in the Carrier Dome.